Good evening, folks, and welcome to Heavy Metal Talk. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are counting down the top 10 Pantera songs. Or as Dimebag Darrell would say, Pan motherfucking Terra, get your pull. Sorry guys, you just gotta curse when you're talking about Pantera. They just have that kind of vibe to them, you know, the Southern Cowboys from hell, from Dallas, Texas. And in Phil Anselmo's case, New Orleans. Such an amazing band, Pantera, one of the greatest and most important bands in heavy metal history, in my opinion. And they're the band, to me, that kept heavy metal alive during the 90s, at a time when it wasn't cool. You know? I mean, you still had bands like Slayer and Megadeth doing their thing, but they kind of weren't as popular as they were because you had the new movement going on at that time of grunge. You had Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, all that stuff that had just taken over rock music. And you had the biggest metal band in the world, Metallica, that had kind of straying the other way, you know, kind of going away from heavy metal, you know. And there you had Pantera to pick up the mantle, you know, and wave the flag of heavy metal into battle so proudly. And that's one of the things I most love about them, you know, as they were not ashamed to be heavy metal. They just put it out there and they were proud of it, you know. And I love that. And yeah, just want to say rest in peace to the late great Dimebag Darrell Abbott and Vinnie Paul Abbott, respectively, two of the greatest musicians in heavy metal history, I would say. And yeah, Pantera is now extinct. There's no chance, no hope of a reunion, because you cannot have Pantera without those two guys. I remember I was holding out hope for so long that someday maybe they might put something together and do like a reunion tour or something, give fans closure, but yeah, that's not going to happen. At any rate, let's get started, shall we? Before we get started, I just want to say, yeah, Pantera had such a unique style, and they brought something truly different to metal, and that's why I feel they were so popular, because it was new and refreshing. It had a groove to it, and it had a little bit of southern rock in there, and you had that in-your-face vocal style from Phil Anselmo that we didn't really hear before, except in like underground metal, you know, a little bit of that hardcore in-your-face attitude, you know, and that's so awesome. Yeah, Philip is one of my favorite vocalists in heavy metal, definitely. There's nobody like him. So let's get to our honorable mentions, and some of you guys might be shocked that some of these classics are not in the top 10. We're going to start with Cemetery Gates, probably their most famous power ballad. I know I hate to say that word ballad when you're talking about Pantera, but they did have a few power ballads, and Cemetery Gates was probably their biggest one, and it's one of their biggest, most well-known songs. Just a great track. Next up is going to be Strength Beyond Strength, from the Far Beyond Driven album. Awesome track, and it's the first track off Far Beyond Driven, and it really gets things going in a great way. It's fast, it's intense, it's heavy, but I like the part when it kind of slows down, and Phil Anselmo's like, "The president in submission, he holds out his hands on your television, draws back a stump." Awesome song, I love it. Next up is Fucking Hostile. Yeah, one of the most well-known Pantera songs for sure. That's definitely one of their classics. But as I said, this is the power of the top 10 to me, you know. Next up is We'll Grind That Axe for a Long Time, from the Reinventing the Steel album from the year 2000, which was, of course, their final curtain call. That's definitely my favorite song from that album. It was so heavy, so intense. I love the riff And I love the passion of Phil's vocals. Excellent track, even though those words didn't quite ring true, unfortunately, but still an awesome song. Next up is Cowboys from Hell. Yeah, another Pantera classic that everybody knows, and it's one of their signature songs, one of their trademarks. But at any rate, yeah, that's the power of the top 10 to me, you know. And I really, really love the top 10 here. Because look at this, Suicide Note Part 2 from the Great Southern Trendkill album, which is what I feel the most underrated Pantera album. In the sense that's got some of the heaviest stuff and some of their most melodic stuff at the same time, some of their most experimental stuff. But at any rate, just an amazing album, and the most underrated for me. This Love would be the next honorable mention from the Vulgar Display album. Again, one of their most popular power ballads, but this definitely puts the power in power ballad, because when this song gets heavy, it gets really heavy, you know. Amazing song. Alright, so in at number 10, here we go, the top 10, baby. In at number 10 is The Art of Shredding from the Cowboys from Hell album. And Cowboys from Hell is what I feel the best work of guitarist Dimebag Darrell Abbott. Just some of his most amazing riffs, and the Art of Shredding is a great example of that. It has some of the best guitar work in the history of Pantera. Awesome stuff. In at number 9 is going to be Slaughtered from the album Far Beyond Driven, which was actually number 1 on the Billboard charts, the heaviest album to ever be number 1 on the Billboard charts, easily. And Slaughtered is one of the heaviest songs in their career. To me, that was Pantera telling everybody, we can be the heaviest damn band in the world if you let us, you know, because this song is so violent, so vicious, so brutal. It's so intense. I love it. In at number 8 is going to be A New Level from the Vulgar Display of Power album. The album that just really put Pantera over the top and into the mainstream. Yeah, just an incredible song. I love the lyrics. It's so simple but so effective, you know. A new level of confidence and power. And you can feel the power going through your veins when you hear that song, you know. It's so intense. And it's something that we can relate to, you know. And it's also relevant to Pantera saying, we got a new level of power for you guys, you know. And number 7 is going to be Message in Blood. Again, some of the best guitar work from Dimebag Darrell. Just amazing riffs. Yeah, some of the best stuff you'll ever hear in heavy metal. And Message in Blood is a great example of that. So heavy, so powerful, awesome song. Next up is going to be I'm Broken from the Far Beyond Driven album, which is an absolutely incredible album. And I'm Broken, again, is something we can all relate to. I'm sure at some point in your life you've been a broken human being, and this song plays to that notion very effectively. And it's something you can all relate to, especially when he says, I'm broke! You know? Yeah. In that number 5 is going to be Drag the Waters from the Great Southern Trendkill album. That's right, guys. I'm going to represent the Great Southern Trendkill because it's such an awesome album, in my opinion. Some of their very best songs. And whenever I hear Drag the Waters, it's just so intense. I get hyped, you know. You that when you hear Phil's vocals kick in, so awesome. In at number 4 is, of course, Walk from the legendary Vulgar Display album, and this is their signature song, guys. The most famous Pantera song. That's the song that everybody knows, and the fans just go ape shit whenever they play that song. You know, it's just infectious. You know, the riff is just so catchy, and it just grabs you by the neck. You know, and pulls you in. It's an amazing riff, and it's an awesome song, and you just want to scream the lyrics at the top of your lungs. Respect, walk. What do you say? In at number 3 is going to be War Nerve from the Great Southern Trendkill. Awesome song, so incredibly heavy, so powerful, and you got some awesome drum work from Vinnie Paul there. Great intro, great song. In at number 2 is going to be 5 Minutes Alone. Love that song, oh my god. So powerful, so heavy. It's just pure badass. It's a definition of badass. And it's my favorite drum work from Vinnie Paul. So intense, so powerful, and it's simple. You know, it's just psh, 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 da, 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 psh, 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 but it's so powerful and it's so effective. And yeah, definitely Vinnie Paul's best work in my opinion. Amazing song. It's so awesome, so badass. So in at number 1, folks, it's going to be Mouth for War. Yeah, it's what I feel the best Pantera song. It's the song that just summarizes everything that Pantera is all about. It's the perfect Pantera song. It's so Pantera, you know? It's nothing like any other band could possibly do but Pantera. It's so distinctively Pantera. And it's just them saying, we're here to whoop your friggin' ass. We're new, we're badass, and we're taking over. You know? Revenge! I'm screaming revenge again. It's so powerful. Just the perfect Pantera song, in my opinion. So guys, that's it for the top 10 Pantera songs. So if you guys want to, feel free to put your top 10 list in the comments below. Or if you want to do a response video with your top 10, feel free to do so. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in Heavy Metal Talk. Tune in and rock on.